We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
DeSantis pulls out of the presidential race, layoffs pick up, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis dropped out of the race for the Republican presidential nomination on Sunday and endorsed former President Donald Trump. DeSantis, once considered Trump's main rival, was polling in the single digits ahead of Tuesday's New Hampshire primary and said in a video posted on X that he couldn't ask supporters for their time and money if we don't have a clear path to victory. Trump's campaign said it was honored by DeSantis' endorsement and called for Republicans to rally behind the frontrunner. DeSantis' departure left former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley as Trump's last viable rival ahead of the vote in New Hampshire, where she trails Trump by double digits in polls. Commanders from the Iranian military and Lebanon's militant Hezbollah group are overseeing attacks by Houthi rebels in the Red Sea, Reuters reported Saturday. Sources told the outlet that military leaders from both factions are on the ground in Yemen to help coordinate the attacks, and that Iran is continuing to fund the Houthis directly with weapons and training. Commanders from the Iranian military and Lebanon's militant Hezbollah group are overseeing attacks by Houthi rebels in the Red Sea, Reuters reported Saturday. Sources told the outlet that military leaders from both factions are on the ground in Yemen to help coordinate the attacks, and that Iran is continuing to fund the Houthis directly with weapons and training. This includes the provision of drones, anti-ship missiles, ballistic missiles, and medium-range missiles, sources said. Houthi rebels have been attacking commercial ships in the Red Sea. Iranian and Hezbollah officials have repeatedly denied involvement in the attacks. The U.S., Egypt, and Qatar are pressuring Israel and Hamas to agree to a phased diplomatic process that aims to free Hamas's remaining hostages and eventually includes the withdrawal of Israeli troops and an end to the war in Gaza, the Wall Street Journal reported Sunday, citing diplomats involved in the talks. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected Hamas's demand to end the war as a condition for freeing the rest of the hostages it seized in the October 7th surprise attack. A senior Hamas official, Sami Abu Zuri, told Reuters that Israel's refusal to end its Gaza offensive means there is no chance for the return of the Israeli captive. Middle Eastern experts have stated, if Hamas ceases fire, there will be peace. If Israel ceases fire, Israel will cease to exist. Russia was China's top supplier of crude oil in 2023, surpassing Saudi Arabia, according to data released on Friday. This represents a large circumnavigation of Western sanctions by China in order to purchase cheap petroleum for its workforce. Russia shipped 107.02 million metric tons of oil to China last year, significantly more than any other nation. This equates to nearly 2.14 million barrels of Russian crude oil per day entering the country. The second-place Saudis shipped just 85.96 million metric tons of oil to China, a decrease of 1.8%. Russia was able to take the top spot in China as the majority of the Western world shunned its oil industry. This indicates that China is in fact funding Russia's war in Ukraine. Macy's announced Sunday it had rejected a $5.8 billion purchase bid submitted by Ark House Management and Brigade Capital Management on December 1st. Macy said Arkhouse's offer to buy Macy's shares it doesn't already own for $21 a share showed a lack of compelling value for the struggling department store company. Macy said last week it was closing 5 more stores and cutting 3.5% of its workforce. Arkhouse has said it might raise its offer or take the matter to shareholders. Macy's shares surged after initial reports on the bid to take the company private, but later gave up a big chunk of the gains. The stock closed Friday at $17.63, putting the company's market cap at $4.8 billion, according to the Wall Street Journal. Amid continued financial woes, Sports Illustrated on Friday announced a series of widespread layoffs. These layoffs affected the sports magazine's writers and editors and could reportedly impact all of the remaining editorial staff of the publication. The layoffs come as Sports Illustrated was unable to finalize payment of its licensing deal, resulting in a breach of its publisher's contract. The magazine's entire staff could be laid off within 3 months if the issue is not resolved. The layoffs are occurring weeks after Sports Illustrated stirred controversy by publishing articles that were allegedly generated by artificial intelligence. The magazine's union pledged to fight for its employees in a statement on X. An increasing number of high schoolers are working after school and summer jobs these days as more part-time work becomes available, according to the Washington Post. At least 250,000 more teens are employed now than before the start of the coronavirus pandemic. In 2022, 37% of 16 to 19-year-olds had a job or were looking for one, the most since 2009, according to the Labor Department. Economists said a gradual shift towards more teen employment was supercharged by the abundance of post-pandemic jobs in businesses like restaurants and stores amid a tight labor market. They're energetic and ready to work, which wasn't really the case with the previous generation of millennials, Albuquerque pizzeria owner Nilo Gonzalez told the Washington Post. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.